So, good morning from Brazil, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our today's webinar, Lithium Mining in South America, Business Opportunities for Austrian Suppliers. My name is Christoph Robertson. I'm head of Advantage Austria in Rio de Janeiro, here in Brazil. And together with my colleagues from Argentina and Chile, we organized this webinar about lithium mining. Let's have a quick look at today's program. I'll give you a quick introduction to the topic, and then we'll already jump right into the presentations of our speakers. We have 3 guests today, one from Argentina, one from Brazil, and one from Chile, talking about their markets. And at the end, then we have the opportunity to ask questions to our speakers. Just very quickly about housekeeping, all participants are muted, so you can ask your questions, please, using the chat function. The webinar is being recorded and will be online in a few days on our YouTube channel, and then we will also share the slides with you together with the link. Let's start with the intro. So I brought this image along for you just so you have an idea about the largest producing countries of lithium. You see Australia is leading today. The image is from 2022, so it's not the current numbers, but it still gives you an idea. It's still more or less the same. And you see here on the left, Chile being the leader in South America, and going down Argentina and Brazil. If we have a look at the largest lithium resources, you see another country that was not on the image before, Bolivia, which has the biggest resources just before Argentina. And then you see Chile here, number 4, just after United States and before Australia. Here in South America, you might have already heard of it, the Lithium Triangle is where the biggest resources are to be found. This is more or less at the border here, you see it, between Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia. Here in Brazil, about 85% of lithium can be found in the Lithium Valley in the state of Minas Gerais. Our colleagues from Chile and we here in Brazil, we're planning a business trip at the beginning of November, so I want to inform you about that. Destination Future Mining in Brazil and Chile, in German Zukunftsreise, and we're planning here to start with Brazil, visiting the Brazilian Lithium Valley, and then going to Chile and having 3 days in Chile with a program with meetings, mining symposium, and also a visit of a copper mine, in this case El Teniente, which is the world's largest underground copper deposit. Let's move on right to our 3 speakers, and we'll start in alphabetical order with Argentina. Lithium in Argentina, the best is yet to come, is the title of the presentation. I welcome Alejandro Colombo from Panorama Minero, and I'll ask him to turn on his camera.
Thanks, Christoph. Good afternoon to everyone. Thanks for the invitation to Advantage Austria and everyone in this seminar. Okay, first of all, thanks in advance. This is the agenda for today. I will try to share you in some minutes what's going on between Argentina and Austria, also the new economic and political environment in Argentina, and also what's going on in the lithium sector. First of all, about the organization where I'm the journalistic director. This is Panorama Minero, the eldest and most important media and events organization in Argentina. We have 2 important seminars, one in every year. This is the Lithium in South America seminar, which will be held in October of this year, in just a couple of months, in Jujuy province, and the San Juan Mining Expo in May 2026. Or for the ones who don't know about the Lithium in South America seminar, this will be the 13th edition in each year. This will be this edition in Jujuy province. Last year was in Salta, and the 2025 edition will be in Catamarca. As a reminder, Catamarca, Salta, and Jujuy are the three provinces located in northwest Argentina where the lithium resources are held in brines. Just to show you a little more the trade between Argentina and Austria, as you can see in the last 10 years, the bilateral commerce, the exports from Austria to Argentina, as you can see, will be either in the range of 100 to 150 or nearly 180 million euros, related specifically to mining machinery, equipment, technological and services devices. And well, the most important, as you can see and you know, the new economic and political environment in Argentina. In last December 2023, Javier Milei assumed as new president with new and pro-market initiatives, with free market policies in order to allow foreign investments. And as you can see, in June 2024, the Congress approved the so-called REGE, specific investment tool for decision makers. This is a tool related to fiscal and legal stability for investments of over $200 million. It's not only for mining, also for oil and gas, forestry, and machinery investments. As I said before, this is an important tool to promote these investments. And as I said, oil and gas, energy, iron and steel industries, also as forestry, mining, tourism, and infrastructure. What's going on today in Argentina, the past and present in lithium sector? Today, Argentina has 4 projects in production stage. These are the Salar del Hombre Muerto complex and the Olaroz projects, both operated by Arcadium Lithium. The Caucharí Olaroz, which is operated by Lithium Argentina, the former Lithium Americas. And recently, just a couple of months ago, Centenario Ratones began its production. It is operated by the French company Eramet. Today, Argentina ranks in the top 5 lithium producers. As you can see in the first picture shared by Christoph, we are only behind Chile and Australia and China. Today, according to the United States Geological Services, Argentina has over 12% of lithium reserves. This means 3.6 million tons over 28 million tons, which are published by the USGS. It's very interesting to show and to see that there is a big support for mining production, and this is related to roads, power, rail, and water. In this graph, you can see the evolution of the lithium production, the carbonate lithium equivalent, over the last 20 years. Just a little less than 2,000 tons in the 2004. The Salar del Muerto complex began production, and in the coming years from 2015 and up to date, 3 more projects came in production. The last bar, as you can see, nearly 10,000 tons of lithium production equivalent, includes the first 3 producers, Caucharí Olaroz, and the Salar del Hombre Muerto complex. And I'm sure with this 2024 production will be a little more higher, related to the Centenario Ratones production project that came in production last June. And in this graph, you can see the lithium production from Argentina as a percentage of the world. You can see that this ranges between 4 and 16% of the worldwide production. This follows the trends, as you know, in the lithium industry worldwide, with new operations and expansions coming specifically from Chile, Australia, and China. And in this slide, as a percentage of South America, Argentina ranges between 14-15% up to 32-33%. Also, this is in the same tune as Chile, and coming recently some production from Brazil. I'm sure that my colleagues will be more specifically with their countries. What about the near-term future in Argentina? According to operators, we have today the production capacity of 136.5 thousand carbon lithium equivalent capacity tons. A tentative to a change of projects that present in the short term and medium term, we can add the several projects in construction, feasibility and pre-feasibility studies, and also expansion from operations, which will require over $6 billion in capital expenditures. In this chart, you can see the evolution of the mining exports. This is future mining exports in a conservative scenario. This is published by the Secretary of Mining of Argentina. You can see that the government expects $4.5 billion of mining exports from this 2024, and this trend can grow up to $21.1 billion of exports, mining exports. You can see the evolution come specifically from lithium, from $1.7 billion in 2024 up to $14 billion in 2031. You can see that it is more or less 70% of the global mining exports from Argentina coming from lithium. And also you can see, let's say, some kind of orange or red bar showing the beginning of production of copper in Argentina. Almost 80% of the 2031 mining exports of Argentina will be related to transition energy materials or minerals like lithium and copper. Of course, I am available to show and to present any opportunity related to copper in Argentina. Just show a little that this country has 4 or 5 of the largest and developed copper projects worldwide. Some conclusions. In the last 2 years, Argentina multiplied by 3 its production. There's a consolidation, lithium production, excuse me. There has been, we have seen some consolidation in the sector, specifically to Chinese operators, which are increasingly investing in this country related to lithium sector. There is a new legal framework and fiscal stability, as I told you in the beginning of the presentation. Argentina lacked of stability, fiscal stability and legal stability for the last 4 or 5 years. The Milei's policy or government allows the coming from foreign investments, and in this stage, we Argentina approved a legal framework, which is very interesting because it has fiscal stability for investments of over $200 million, not only for mining. It means not only for a new project, but also for expansions. It's very interesting to say. For example, it can be applied for a new mining operation, let's say lithium, but also for an increasing or expansion the capacity. And the last, Minas for Transition Energy, as I said before, lithium and copper as policy states. To show it that in the last couple of years of the 90s up to 2010, Argentina was specifically mining exports of precious metals, lithium, gold and silver, but there is a more specifically important participation of lithium and copper. And thanks for everyone, and I'm free for questions after my colleagues. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you very much, Alejandro. As our next speaker, I would like to ask Henrique Tavares. Turn on your camera and your microphone. We'll talk about Brazil, the Lithium Valley, Brazil. Welcome, Henrique. The floor is yours.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity to talk a little bit about Lithium Valley, Brazil. Well, we created this brand to spread to the world that we have lithium in Brazil, in Minas Gerais, which is the mining state of the country. And since a couple years, we are making road shows to tell that we have lithium companies already in production, and a lot of projects going on. I'm Henrique Tavares. I'm manager of the mining sector here in Invest Minas. Invest Minas is the investment promotion agency of the state, Minas Gerais state. Our mission is to promote investments, business, and employment in our state. So what is our job is to be one-stop shop for companies and investors that want to do business here in Minas Gerais. Well, about Lithium Valley, since we started to promote this region as a lithium deposit, we have all these blueprints. First, we made an official launch in NASDAQ in May last year, and then the government created a working group for all the lithium aspects in our state. This region is where Sigma is a very well-known company, world-class company, is producing and started its production and exportation last year. During this year, we have probably Atlas Lithium will start its operation by the end of the year, and Lithium Resources in Lithium Ionic, they are in the process of getting the environmental permitting to start operating also. And it's important to highlight that we have in that region CBL. It's a Brazilian company that is already producing lithium carbonate and hydroxide. This is important because there are not so many companies in the world that have chemical plants to produce carbonate or hydroxide. By a couple of years from now, Lithium Ionic and Lithium Resources will start their productions which this will put Minas Gerais in a very strong position in the lithium supply chain. And we have also AMG, which is a company that is already in Brazil producing. It's not in the Lithium Valley. Its plant. It's in another region of the state, but they have this project to put a chemical plant and also produce lithium carbonate to export to a plant that will be in Germany, and we start operation next month in Germany. Okay, so what we are we are working to is prospecting downstream opportunities to have to enhance our value, okay, not to export only the lithium ore, but to create conditions to have the whole chain here, since Minas Gerais is the mining state, but we have also a very diversified economy. We have a lot of steel, we have auto makers, we have a very strong position in agro-business also. So we have conditions to go downstream in the chain. So what we are expecting is in the next 6 or 7 years, something like 30 billions of reais, which would be 6 billions of $6 billions, okay, that will be invested in the lithium. So this is what we believe that what Minas Gerais can reach in the next years, okay? Comparing the production of other countries and what we have, what kind of resources and investment that we have. It's also important to highlight that our lithium is hard rock lithium, is similar to the extraction of Australian, different from the salar that we have in other countries of South America, and that's why we are having so many investments from Australian companies. Then I was talking about all this strategy that it was created by the government, okay, to put Lithium Valley as a strategical project inside the government to create all the infrastructure and conditions to have it developed from the mining point of view and from the industry point of view to create conditions that we can go downstream into the production chain, okay? What we are doing, having working groups that promote the mineral extraction, but also creating conditions for infrastructure and human development, so we can go together into the whole chain of the lithium productions and also a path to that's what we are aiming to have it even in the auto or battery production. So we have enhanced the supply of energy, support of working force, have started a flight to see the Salinas municipality, a direct flight to help the people to go there, and also we are improving the roads and things like that. Okay. After the Lithium Valley project, it it was a pleasure to see the success of it and all the attention that it was achieved in the market and in the media. We moved to show Minas Gerais as a strategic materials hub, because we have a privilege of having a geology background, that we have not only lithium, we have graphite, we have manganese, we have niobium, we have rare earth elements. So by scanning this QR code, you're going to have a very good look of all that the state has in mining sector, mainly in those strategic materials, and also a view of the state as a place for doing business and have a diversified economy. And only to have a few examples, we have a graphite asset is for sale from the. We have also titanium and rare earth assets looking for investment. We have a green hydrogen hub being created. So we are very engaged in all these decarbonization economy, and in which all those strategic materials are playing a very important role. And to have a very fresh example of how business is being made here in Minas Gerais, it was announced last Friday that Pilbara Minerals, also an Australian company, has announced that is to acquire 100% of the shares of Lithium Resources that we have mentioned before. And this is a very important deal, because Pilbara is a much more strong and company than Lithium, and this deal will be enhancing our Lithium Valley project. And I put here the comments of Ana Cabral, who is the CEO of Sigma Lithium, and she believes that this transaction is very good for Brazil, for the critical material sector. It's a big investment, it's more than $300 million, and shows that the maturity of the Lithium Valley, and also that Brazil offers very good conditions for doing business, and that mainly in Minas Gerais, relating with Lithium Valley, we have a very stable and good and harmonious relations between the state government and the federal government, which brings legal security and create conditions for doing business, and we are a very pro-business state. That's it. Thank you. I'm here to answer any questions by the end of the webinar.
Thank you very much, Henrique. And now let's move on to last but not least, Chile. As I mentioned, Chile today is the biggest producer here in South America. We will have now talk about Chilean lithium opportunities for foreign companies. Daniel Jimenez from Eli Markets. Daniel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation to present. Okay, so as said, my name is Daniel Jimenez. I'm a partner at Eli Markets, which we are a lithium-focused consulting firm. In my prior life, I worked for SQM for 28 years. I was Senior VP Commercial for 10, and sold lithium all over the world for quite a few years. By the way, I'm also half Austrian. Ich spreche auch Deutsch. And since we are in this webinar for Austria, happy to do it. Here, a little bit description of the company. This is the agenda for the presentation. We're going to talk about the resources, about the mining legislation, the national lithium strategy in Chile, the probable outcome and opportunities we might see for foreign investors or suppliers. First of all, Chile, from a geological point of view, Chile has an enormous privilege because of the presence of lithium and the possibilities of lithium to concentrate at high levels, given this extreme dryness of the western side of the Andes. And as a result of that, we have Atacama, the Salar de Atacama, which is by far the best or the most concentrated lithium resource in the world, and therefore also with extremely low costs of production. As you can see in this graph here, we plot here lithium concentrations on the horizontal and magnesium, which are contaminants, right? Across the different salt flats in red Chile, in blue Argentina, and in green Bolivia. The size of the bubble represents the measured and indicated resource. It does not include inferred resources. Huh? And that's why Atacama is, and only the SQM part is bigger than Uyuni, which earlier was said that was the biggest resource in the world. As you see from the red bubbles, which are Chile, they are the highest. We have the highest lithium salt lakes with the highest lithium concentrations in this country, right? Evidently, Argentina, which is the today and has an enormous number of projects going on, concentrations are slightly lower than those in La Isla or in Maricunga, but none of them can really compete with Atacama. Now, we have an enormous potential, but we have a bad legislation which has hindered the industry's development, and that's a very sad part of this whole story in Chile. In the mining code in 1983, lithium was included as a non-concessible element, meaning that if you're the owner of a tenement, you can extract any mineral but lithium. At that time, this was mid-80s, Cold War. Lithium was still considered for military purpose a strategic element, and the Soviet Union and the US had strategic stocks of lithium. And that's why when this new mining code was drafted, the generals of the army pressured that lithium was defined as non-concessible. This was later on, it was tried to change, but then we entered into the ideology in the country where the far left parties dream of this nationalizing lithium, of nationalizing resources, and therefore the debates, those more pro-market parties, they eluded the debates because it was a contentious discussion. So given this situation today, in order to exploit lithium, you need a special contract granted by the Ministry of Mining, and you need a permit to extract lithium from the Chilean Nuclear Energy Commission. Bottom line, it's an administrative hassle, very ideologized, to the extent that today the only company which has received a mining, a special contract is Codelco, which is the state-owned copper company, right? So really difficult to develop any project around lithium, because essentially if you have the resource, or you had the resource in the past, you simply were not able to extract lithium because it didn't belong to you. So now in 2023, a national lithium strategy was proposed by this left-wing government we have in Chile today. And of course, with an ideological bias, which I think doesn't improve much things. First of all, they said we're going to promote the lithium industry, but our aim is to do value added domestically. Right? So the typical forward integration. And for that reason, they defined, of the 69 salarios we have in Chile, they defined 4 categories of salarios. The first one, which are 2, which will be run and operated and controlled by state-owned enterprises. A second group of 5 where state-owned enterprises will have a participation, not necessarily control by that participation. They left 29 salarios to be developed by private enterprises, and they put 33 salarios under environmental protection. In addition to these definitions, they also indicate in the strategy that all the development has to be done through direct lithium extraction technologies. This is instead of the evaporation, the solar evaporation concentration systems, which are in place today in Atacama. And this, of course, is a dream, because lithium extraction, direct lithium extraction technologies are still at not a mature level, and more important than that, today, at least those who are operating, require a lot of fresh water, which in this part of the world we don't have. So I think a very flawed condition, which is already a hurdle to develop this. And finally, they indicated that they expect tax regime similar to that of Atacama. Atacama is a special situation. We're going to explain it later. But if you look at the right-hand graph, this is the royalty called for proceeds from the lease to SQM and Albemarle of Atacama. And when we're talking about prices of, let's say, $20, the royalty is 25%, which is an outrageous royalty compared to any other royalty in the world. Now, there's a reason for this, but I'm going to explain it in the upcoming slide. So within the 4 categories they defined, the state-controlled ones are Atacama and Maricunga. In Atacama, we have 2 operators today, Albemarle and SQM. And in Maricunga, Codelco consolidated all the mining property there. When we think about Atacama, the original mining rights of Atacama date back to 1932, so to the 32 mining code, and which in the 60s called for, which is a state-owned agency, explored and staked that mining property. Then in the 80s and 90s, called for leased their properties to what today is Albemarle and SQM for them to develop their lithium and potash projects, right? So the production started in the 80s and 90s. And with the entry of SQM into the market, which was a new player, with announcing prices 50% of those that were prevailing at that time, it produced an enormous transformation of the lithium industry globally, quickly taking 50% of the global market share and basically shutting down production of lithium in the US, in Australia, to the large part, in China, in Russia, and so on and so forth. So it was an enormous transformation what Atacama meant to the world. Now, the lease agreements during 2017 and 18 called for renegotiated both with Albemarle and SQM the contracts, because although those contracts had were going to expire in many years to come at that moment, the extraction quotas were limited because nobody thought or imagined when they were originally signed that consumption would be so big. And in this renegotiation, that's when Corfo negotiated these high royalties, right? But okay, it was an asset which was already in operation, where all the investments were done with, in theory, the leasers, SQM and Albemarle, had basically no other option than to accept very harsh conditions. So that's how this was reached. The agreement with SQM runs to 2030. So within this national lithium strategy, Codelco was encouraged to negotiate with SQM an early entry into the project. And they ended up, after much negotiation, agreeing to extend the contract from 2030 to 2060, so 30 years additional, but that Codelco would step in with 50% starting already in 2025. So that is the situation of Atacama, and Albemarle's lease runs through 2043, and it will not produce any significant changes. Maricunga, the second richest lithium containing salt flag, is a salt flag where historically there were a couple of projects, including SQM and Lithium Power International, as well as Codelco, or they had mining properties there. So Codelco over the last year has consolidated that mining property and will now develop that project, a project in Maricunga for which it is looking for partners to develop and finance the project. And publicly or in the press, we have heard that companies like Eramet, Ganfeng, Rio Tinto, and Aramco have been in discussions with Codelco to engage or to joint venture or explore the possibilities to joint venture here. Then we have the next group, which are salt flats where the state-owned enterprises will be present, but not necessarily controlled. And this is essentially these 5 salt flats. The ones which have more work behind them are the first group, which are under the influence of Enami, a state-owned copper refining company, which is bankrupt or at least has no money and therefore will need to look for partners. They have issued some invitation for a company to look into the projects, and you have there the list. Multiple companies have applied. The truth is that La Isla, at least, is a very, at least from the information available, it's a very interesting salt flat. And therefore, the interest, I think, will be primarily there. The mining property owner of La Isla, not of the lithium, but the rest of the mining property is Eramet. So I would assume that Eramet will have certain advantage in capturing this agreement. The other one is Salar de Pedernales, where Codelco will start exploration now in 2025. Finally, they put in a list of projects or salares which can be developed by private companies. You see that list on the right-hand side. I would say from all these salt flats, when the information we had, which is very, very shallow, because none of this have been really explored. At least in our priority list, this was always, most of them were in the low end of the priority. So I wouldn't have big expectations of what can be produced out of here, or at least it would have less than those of the others. Well, also the Ministry of Mining is organizing this and attracting interested parties. 54 of them have presented, from 10 countries have presented interests, and the Ministry of Mining will make a decision somewhere early 2025. We also have a group of salares which were put under protection, a large number of them. So what is the probable outcome for all of this? With the exception of Maricunga, all other projects are in a very early stage of development. And therefore, at least if things get good, it will take 10 years for these projects to start, right? And whoever engages in this will engage in exploration risk because they need to be explored. If you add to that the environmental permitting in Chile is extremely slow and unpredictable, can add 2 to 4 years to any development. So production will start somewhere in the mid of next decade if it starts in all of these projects, right? Partnerships with state-owned enterprises will be expensive. Neither Codelco nor NAMI do have funds, and their partners are expected to finance these projects, or partially finance. So there's also a risk there because you as a partner, you will have to basically contribute to the financing what your other partner should have put. The compulsory use of DLE increases the execution risk of the project enormously, I explained already. And the tax regime, at least if these initial statements that they want to make it as Atacama, it's really increased. Any cost advantages salt flats could have disappears from an investor's perspective because it will go out as at an incremental cost as a royalty. And finally, you have to think that any salt lake here where somebody is granted the right to extract lithium will have a conflict with the owner of the mining property who will see that some of his minerals are being extracted by this other company which is extracting lithium. So expect legal conflicts which could delay even further things. Bottom line, I honestly think that Western companies will not most likely be reluctant to invest in this project. That's my opinion, unless they have already something at stake, like Eramet, for example, which has already invested quite heavily in buying mining properties. So what are the opportunities here? First of all, investment in projects, I would advise extreme cautions. If you want to be an investor in any of these projects, I would personally not do it. And for technology and equipment suppliers, possibilities will arise. A lot of activity should start. And I guess you have to follow ENAMI's and the Ministry of Mining awarding of salt lakes in order to know with whom to approach and with whom to try to work. Make sure credit risk is covered because, as I said, I think these are going to be expensive exercises. And one thing I forgot to put in here is that Codelco is also a company. Codelco will do quite a lot of work, and Codelco evidently is the other company which one would need to approach. I think, that is the last slide, and I hope I stayed within the time frame allocated.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for this great presentation. Very straightforward. Let's jump right into the Q&A session. I'll ask the other speakers to turn on their cameras as well. So, question for Argentina. How will Argentina export the lithium from the border of Chile to the worldwide market? Alejandro, how will the export, or how does the export work from Argentina?
Okay, thanks, Christoph. All the lithium exports from Argentina, as you know, the principal consumers are the Southeast Asian countries, China, Korea, and Japan. And all the production goes through the Paso de Jama Pass, located in northwest Argentina, near the border with Chile. It's very interesting to share that this Jama Pass connects the Chilean ports in the Pacific Ocean, the Iquique ports, the Antofagasta ports, with the Brazilian ports in the Atlantic Ocean. So it's an interesting corridor that links the Puerto de Santos and Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil and the Arica, Iquique, Antofagasta Chilean ports. So the lithium production from Argentina goes through the Jama Pass in northwest up to the Chilean ports in the Pacific Ocean.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Staying in Argentina, what kind of process is being used in Argentina and will be used in future projects to produce lithium? Centrifugal with fresh water or vaporation?
The production from lithium comes from brine evaporation directly.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. I have a question for the three of you. I think Daniel already mentioned it on his last slide, but maybe you, Alejandro, and Henrique can talk about a bit more about it. The business opportunities you see for Austrian suppliers in your countries for current and future projects. Maybe we start with Argentina.
Okay, there are certain opportunities for suppliers, Austrian suppliers, especially those related to machinery equipment, all related to, let me see, all related to technological systems, those related to valves, pressure tools. Also for mining consultants, it's very interesting to take in consideration for Austrian suppliers of goods and services. But I refer specifically to tool equipment, mining suppliers related to load and hauling. There's a lot of opportunities for Austrian suppliers here in Argentina. I don't know about the other countries.
Thank you, Alejandro. And Henrique, which opportunities do you see in Brazil today and also in the near future?
Well, I see that you may have good opportunities supplying machines and technological solutions. Okay, I would dare to suggest that would be a good option to look for partners already in Brazil, because we have a very good mechanical and steel hub here in Minas Gerais. So this would save you time and reduce costs, and would be easier to achieve clients, not only to supply for the lithium industry, but we have also iron ore, we have gold, we have niobium, we have graphite. So, and we have already many international companies here that supply all those big companies like Vale, Anglo American, Anglo Gold. So I would even suggest that you should try to come in September in Expo Zibran, which is a very big event from the mining sector, and will take place here in Belo Horizonte. It would be a good opportunity to start relating with all these environments.
Thank you, Henrique. Alejandro, you lifted your hand.
Yes, Christoph, let me add that in Argentina, from the coming future, near-term future, it's not everything related only to lithium, but also for copper production. Recently, BHP, the most important mining company by market capitalization worldwide, entering a joint venture with Lundin Mining in order to develop the Vicuña district. It's the most important mining copper district in the last 20 years. So it's getting a lot of opportunities for Austrian suppliers, specifically for tunneling, machinery equipment. It's very interesting to show the possibilities of the mining industry and not only lithium.
Perfect. Thank you, Alejandro. I see it's already 11 o'clock here in Brazil, 4 p.m. in Austria. So I would like to thank you for your attention. I'd like to remind you once again of our business trip, our Zukunftsreise that we're planning in November. If you're interested, please contact us for more details. In the next couple of days, you'll get an email asking you for feedback. We'd be happy to receive your feedback about this webinar. Please also feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn, and where you can always find information on our events and everything that is going on here in the region. And here are contact details of our offices in South America that participated in this webinar. Thank you a lot for being here today, Alejandro, Henrique, and Daniel. Thank you, our participants, and have a good afternoon in Austria and a good morning here in South America. Thank you and bye-bye.